What's going on? This is No Bad Days. I'm Ryan. Welcome back to another episode. I had to take a week off last week from filming as life got too hectic. I think it's important for me to recognize when I need to be able to slow down, give myself the opportunity to get caught up on life and work and play. And, it takes a lot for me to say no or to make the decision to not do everything. I love being part of and doing everything. I have that fear of missing out, but it was important for me to take a little bit of time. I've got a lot going on in my life today. Work's crazy busy. I've mentioned that before. I'm working on some new projects in my life that have been very exciting but are very challenging. So I spend a lot of time on computer and in the books and things like that as I work towards some new goals. And I'm trying to make as much time for family and friends and try to find a little bit of time for myself. So I figured, you know what? I was trying to do a video every week, but at this point in time, right now, I had to take a week off and it didn't feel like I took any time off. Some things came up and, my time was made even more limited. But with that said, I've had a great couple of weeks, feeling very good about everything, making lots of progress on my project. And life has been pretty good. Weather was really nice, so that was a nice bonus. And, been making time for meetings and, lots of exciting stuff happening. I love spring. I love when, the smell of spring is in the air and the mood and everything like that is just so much nicer. I love winter, but this was not the winter for me. Pretty much zero snowboarding and I'm ready for spring. We got the cars out. It's fun. It's exciting. And I'm looking forward to summer now. We've got lots of big plans for that. So, just wanted to talk about new beginnings is kind of something that I've been thinking about a lot as I work on this new project, which again, I mentioned in the last video, we'll talk about more as we move forward. And what comes with new beginnings or moving forward or leveling up, whatever you want to maybe call it. And I know a lot of it for me is fear, fear of not getting what I want. And or fear of losing what I already have. And, that's hard when you're taking big steps in life. And whether that's in, work, play, relationships, stuff like that, there's a lot attached to that. And I find myself, reverting back to what's easiest, what's comfortable, and what I'm familiar with. And to go outside of my comfort zone is scary, but it's also exciting. And I really am looking forward to some exciting things in the future, and we'll go from there. And I think what I've learned over the past few years is I don't follow my head so much anymore. I have to follow what's in my heart and my soul. And I know for me, the direction that I'm going is the right thing for me. I have pretty good faith in the fact that things will work out the way they're supposed to work out, as long as I do the work that's required. I'm a strong believer that I don't leave before the miracle happens, and I'm willing to do the work for everything in my life. And it's something I've had to learn, especially sobriety, is that I get reward when I put in the work, whatever that reward may be. So I'm trying to get over those fears. And an important part of getting over those fears for me is some positive self-talk. And it's not positive self-talk in the traditional sense of, Ryan, you can do this, or, self-affirmation or anything like that. But just keeping the self-talk and the narrative inside my head, like my buddies that live up there, keeping that on the right track and keeping my thought pattern on a positive direction. And an important thing for me in that sense is to stay away from things that draw up negative emotion and thought patterns. So I've been doing a much better job of that. I've been really trying to work on my diet, try to feed myself things that are going to keep me motivated and keep me thinking strongly. I've been eating way too much chocolate though, but I guess maybe the sugars are good for me. I don't know. When I'm studying so much, I've been snacking on that, but I've been eating really well. I'm feeling really good physically and mentally, and it feels good to be learning again. But yeah, keeping that self-talk just flowing and keeping that dialogue with that constant, energy to keep moving forward. Because when I get home at the end of the day, I've worked 10 hours. The last thing I want to do is sit down in front of a computer or open another textbook or, start writing. It's hard. but I know it's like, I know it's what I have to do. And it's short term and there's reward at the end of it. So I just have to keep that motivation going. With that said, about the negative intake, an important part of reducing the negative and or stressors in my life is setting very strong boundaries. Something I learned in treatment early on was that boundaries are very important for my sobriety, but they're also very important for every aspect of my life. I am very grateful for everybody that's in my life, whether they are sober, struggling with addiction, no issues that way, you know, whatever it may be, every cut of the cloth, you know, I'm grateful for those people in my life. But some people have the ability to maybe drain some of that energy a little bit quicker than others. And I think it's important for the people that I have those difficulties with is to have those strong boundaries, especially when it comes to terms with people that are currently struggling with addiction. I have some pretty firm boundaries. And the way I like to look at boundaries is my boundaries are basically I live in a house, you know, hypothetical house, and my yard is fenced off and people are allowed into my yard. And, you know, and some people are allowed to come over, but as soon as they, you know, start to horse around, say I'm having a yard party and, you know, people start horsing around, then it's time for them to leave and they're no longer welcome in the yard and they're welcome back next time, but, you know, they got to leave for now. But, so that's kind of how I look at my boundaries with certain individuals is that they're allowed in, but there's some rules and some guidelines. And if they don't abide by those, then they have to leave for that day and they can try again later. Especially with the addiction aspect. I have people that reach out to me when they're under the influence. And one of my big things is that if it's somebody that's struggling with addiction, they are not allowed to reach out to me in active use. They can call me in the morning. They can call me before they use. And if they call me while they're inebriated, I simply just ask them, hey, you know, sorry, I can't chat right now. Can you give me a shout back when you're not drinking or using or whatever? And it's not that I don't want to help them, but if they're already in the act of using, it's very difficult for me to be of any help. And that the boundary for me is that out of respect for me, that I ask that people don't contact me while actively in use. So I think most people understand that it's not okay to call me when they're messed up. But, you know, there are some people that continue to do it. And, you know, I want them to get better. And it makes me sad, too. Like, I just want people to be healthy and I want people to live long and healthy lives. And I want them to feel good. And it makes me upset when people are calling me and they're, you know, clearly messed up. And it's sad to see because I know what's possible and I want people to have that better life. So that's one of my strong boundaries. It's something I have to have. Another one is just boundaries when it comes to my personal life is that I need time for myself. I need time with my family. So I don't allow myself to be overextended like I used to. So, you know, boundaries are for me. It's not against somebody else or it's not against a place or anything like that. And I think a lot of people get that confused when we talk about boundaries. The boundaries are for me. They're not against somebody or something. So when I set my boundaries, it's, you know, it's to preserve what I have and what I do actually have control over in my life. And it's important for me to continue to execute them because when I don't, life can get a little bit too hectic for me. And it's important for me to have time to work on myself and to allow those people into my yard that lift me up and support. So that's a big part of this for me is practicing those boundaries. I remember, again, when I came out of treatment, one of my boundaries with family was that I wasn't willing to talk about my experience in treatment. And it was asked pretty quickly, you know, what was it like? And I just said, this is the first time I'd actually had implemented it. And I was just like, you know, we talked about this and I'm just not willing to discuss that in this point in time. Now, with that said, I talk about it pretty readily and put it out on the internet and stuff like that now. But at that time, I really had to start to use my boundaries and see how they actually worked for me. I think a big part of all of this, and whether it's recovery or just day-to-day life, is learning some new things, putting them out into the world and testing them, and then bringing that knowledge back home and implementing it in my life when I've tested it and I've seen the result. So it's not like I'm just taking something that somebody's told me and been like, yes, that is something I will adopt and this is going to work for me. You know, these are tested things that I've done in my life that actually do work for me. And I think it's important that everybody uses that in their life, whether it's anything, whether it's faith or religion or spirituality or anything is that when you're told something, is go out and test it and see if that's real for you in your life. I know the things that I've put out there, and I've seen these results. And that's why I kind of share them, is when I've actually seen results in my life from these things. Now, that doesn't mean it'll work for you, but it can't hurt to give it a try. I can't wait, and I've mentioned this a few times now, to get some more people on the channel now that things are starting to open up and we can do some stuff outside. It's going to be so much more beneficial. I think you'll really enjoy the people that we get on talking about all aspects of life, and especially just that continuing journey of growing and evolving as individuals, and not stopping because you're young, old, this, that, the other, whatever it may be, is taking those opportunities. And I draw a lot of inspiration, especially from my family, who are, they're about it. Like, these are people that are still out there getting things done, and aren't afraid to try new things and learn, and a passion for learning new things. And it really keeps me motivated. I'm excited to have some of those conversations and see where things go from there. So I can't wait to be able to share more of what's going on in my life with you, but that will come in due time. And I'm just excited, like I said, for spring and all that. It's going to be a fun time. I hope everybody's doing really well. If there's anything that you'd like to talk about or share with me, I'm thinking about doing a Q&A for the next video. So shoot me questions in the comment section below, or you can send them via the website. If you haven't checked out the website, it's www.nobaddaysclub.ca. It's a cool little website that's been up for a while now. It has the most recent videos posted there. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It is free. There's nothing attached to a subscription on a YouTube channel. All that it does is helps the algorithm so more people see the video. Comment, subscribe, like it, share it with your friends, and all that good stuff. So thanks so much for watching. I look forward to sharing more as things grow. And yeah, thanks so much. Have a wonderful night. This is No Bad Days. I'm Ryan. Take care.